Hello, my name is Jacob Hunter, and I'll be doing my presentation on the chemistry behind ecstasy. To start off, we'll go over some background information of ecstasy. Its molecular name is methylphenidioxymethamphetamine, or MDMA. Its molecular formula is C11H15NO2. Its molecular weight is 193.2. It is completely insoluble in water. It does not exist in nature, therefore it has to be a man-made drug. You can't just find it anywhere. It's made with a very specific set of instructions. And when it is made, it usually exists in pill form. And on rare occasions, it can exist in a powdered substance. And to the right, I have some pictures of what ecstasy can look like. And oftentimes, ecstasy can be very misleading because of the way it appears. It oftentimes looks like child friendly, you could say. For example, you see like the two pills that are just smiley faces on it. I mean, that could be anything, and it almost makes the drug kind of seem harmless when that is in fact not the case. Some brief history of MDMA. It was originally created by a pharmaceutical company in the year 1912, and it was not created with the intent to later become known as like a party drug. It was actually used by the United States Army in psychological warfare tests, and the prime decade of MDMA was the 1970s. That's when it really became popular and known as like a party drug, you could say. And today, ecstasy is actually rarely made of 100% MDMA. It is oftentimes mixed with a whole bunch of other types of drugs. I have listed here LSD, cocaine, or heroin. So that kind of increases the risk factor of taking this drug, because oftentimes you're not just going to be taking ecstasy. You could easily be taking cocaine or heroin. MDMA's effects on the brain. So there are three areas in which MDMA affects the brain. The first one is the norepinephrine. So that'll cause an increase in your heart rate and blood pressure. The next area it targets is the dopamine. That'll give you a massive increase in energy and physical activity. So oftentimes, or at least me personally, whenever I hear ecstasy, I think the stereotypical thing a lot of people imagine is someone kind of in like a great mood, you could say, or someone in like a very hyper like state, and that would be the dopamine. The last area is the serotonin. That'll affect your appetite, your sleep schedule, and the obviously the mood of the user. It can also trigger the sexual arousal and increases trust. So that could also be a very dangerous side effect of MDMA. I mean, if you just trust everybody around, that can oftentimes lead to very bad things. And the serotonin also cause the jovial mood you'll often see people in that are on this drug. And to the right, I have some MRI scans of the people that have used ecstasy for long amounts of time, such like, for example, you have the 24 months and the 30 months. You can see the different areas of the brain and how different it looks compared to just a normal MRI. So like I said, MDMA does not exist in nature. It has to be produced and it's man-made. So these are the kind of how it is made. It can be made within the confinement of like a laboratory, and it is said that basically anyone with a chemistry background will probably succeed in making this drug. However, some of the ingredients that go into ecstasy, like MDP2P and isosafrole, they're monitored heavily by law enforcement. So if you were to buy, these ingredients in large quantities, you'd most likely get put on like a watch list, and you'll be questioned and things like that. And since it's those ingredients are so tightly monitored, it's oftentimes hard for people in the United States to massively or like mass create ecstasy. So most of the time, MDMA will come from out of the country, which I would also say adds to the risk factor of taking it, because you're not necessarily sure what you're taking exactly. Some physical effects that MDMA has on you. It could put you in like a state of well-being. It can make you feel calm, excited, or peaceful. Your sensitivities will be heightened, and there's a massive increase in physical or emotional energy. I think this kind of goes with the stereotypical, thing people think about of ecstasy, how it makes you like hyper, makes you in like a great mood. It makes you very sensitive. So these last three effects are kind of like side effects, you could say. You could experience muscle tensions, blurred or double vision. Your pupils will be extremely dilated. As you can see in the picture to the right, that person's pupils are obviously not normal, and you can tell they're definitely on something. And these are the references I used for my information.